Hello, I'm Jim Daniels with Digital Badge Academy, and welcome to the second installment of our multi-part education series on digital credentialing program governance. If you haven't done so already, I strongly recommend you review part one of the series, which will really help set the stage for this session and those that follow. So in this session, we'll take things further by presenting what I refer to as the 4 pillars of governance. And we'll also be covering 12 very essential governing components that actually align to one of those 4 pillars. And then over the episodes that follow, we'll be covering the 5 phases of governance model development. And we'll also be taking a look at the top 10 outcomes to expect from a well-functioning governance framework. So the best way to be notified when these additional sessions drop is by signing up to receive the Digital Badge Academy newsletter. And I have the link up on the screen here so that you can see where to go to do that. Now let's jump straight into today's topic. What exactly constitutes a governance model for digital credentialing and badging programs? So the governance model is the most significant part of an overall framework that's going to include oversight, standards, guidelines, and processes. So those 4 pillars collectively ensure that badges are aligned with your organizational standards, perhaps industry standards, that they accurately represent skills or any other type of achievements that they're in service of, and that they're also consistently assessed and verified. If we take a look at the first pillar here, oversight, we see that includes really the point where you're going to verify the legitimacy of credentials. It's ensuring that there's compliance with standards and other aspects of the program. And it's all about maintaining the program's integrity. And we'll go into a bit more detail in just a moment about what oversight actually entails. Then we have standards. So standards are going to ensure consistency and reliability in whatever you decide is credential worthy. Also, the issuance of badges, verification, and the recognition of credentials across different platforms and systems and even stakeholders. Then we have guidelines. So guidelines are going to help ensure consistency, quality, and alignment with the program's standards and goals. And it's also going to help simplify engagement within your badge program for anyone that's considered a stakeholder. And then finally, we have processes. So processes really refer to the development of meaningful process that's going to help ensure accuracy, security, and efficiency of the overall credentialing program itself. So let's start with the area of governance related to oversight. And one of the first things that you'll find yourself needing to deal with is stakeholder roles and responsibilities. So what this deals with is really clearly defining the roles and responsibilities of different stakeholders that are going to be involved in the program. And that can include program managers, badge issuers, badge earners, employers, educational institutions, business units within your organization, any other relevant party. So this is going to ensure that everyone understands what their level of contribution should be, as well as what level of accountability that they will have in the success of your program. Then we move on to feedback and continuous improvement. So this is really about defining mechanisms that are going to allow you to gather feedback, again, from badge earners, badge issuers, business units, any stakeholder, employers, etc., and also being able to use that feedback to make informed decisions, and also to continuously improve on the program's offerings and processes. We also have a governance committee or body. This is something that you're going to want to form very early on in the process, and that's establishing this committee or body that's going to be responsible for overseeing the program's operations, making all the key decisions, particularly at a strategy level, and also helping resolve any conflicts that may arise both throughout the development of the program and getting it launched and even downstream from then. So this committee should really include representatives from each of the different stakeholder groups that you define. We have compliance and legal considerations. So this is ensuring that the program adheres to relevant laws and regulations governing data privacy, intellectual property, educational standards, or any other type of regulation, particularly in a regulated industry or a regulated profession. This is going to be particularly important. So it's really about having protocols in place so that you're able to address legal issues as they come up. And then we finally have monitoring and reporting. This relates to measures of success, if you will. So this is all about implementing mechanisms to allow you to monitor the program's performance. That includes badge issuance rates, user engagement, looking at feedback, whether that's through ongoing badge earner surveys or NPS data, and then also regularly reporting on those metrics back to the key stakeholders and using that data to make informed decisions on how to continue to evolve your program. So now we move on to standards. So the first thing in standards is badge design and criteria. So this is really about establishing well-defined criteria for badge design, issuance, and assessment. It's also about specifying the skills, the achievements, any competencies that the badge are intended to represent, as well as what evidence or assessment methods are going to be required to actually earn these badges. So this is going to help maintain consistency and quality across all of the badges that you publish and issue. Then we have quality assurance standards, which really relates very tightly with badge design and criteria. So this is about defining the quality standards that the badges have to adhere to. So this can include guidelines for something like the actual badge emblems or the visuals themselves, what is often referred to as visual design language. This is typically where you would get your marketing and branding folks involved. Also, how the metadata is structured and written, and any kind of verifiable information in terms of how that's going to be handled. So regular reviews and even audits can be important to ensure that badges meet these standards. Now we can take a look at guidelines. So under guidelines, one of the big items there is data privacy and security policy. So this is going to detail any kind of protocol that's in place for how you handle and protect personal data of the badge earners. This includes addressing data privacy regulations like GDPR, for instance, the European standard for that. It can also include encryption measures, any secure storage practices, and just in general safeguarding any sensitive information that may be part of the program. There's communication and marketing strategy, a really important one. It's often overlooked in many badging programs that I see, but this is where you'll develop a communication plan that outlines how the program is going to be marketed to potential earners, how it's going to be marketed and messaged to internal business units within your organization, employers, depending on what your program is in service of, and any other stakeholder that has an interest in the outcomes that this program will be responsible for driving. So ensuring consistent messaging and branding is really important to being able to build trust and recognition within your program. And then finally, we have training and support, another really, really important item to include as part of the governance. So this is about providing training and support, probably primarily to badge issuers, but it also includes earners. Earners need to have a positive experience when they engage with the program. So it can be helpful sometimes to help educate them on how best to go about doing that. Also, how to get the most value out of the credentials that they're going to be earning. And it can include other stakeholders as well. And it's really about understanding the program's processes, any requirements, and also the benefits. And then there are processes. And the first thing in this area that we can take a look at is assessment and review mechanisms. Now, this is really about dealing with those within the organization who want to be part of the program, who have in mind of something that they would like to have credentialed using badges. So it's really about establishing the processes for how you're going to assess those badges from a qualification standpoint, and to ensure also that there's adherence to standards. This can also include reviewing badge quality and applicability on a regular, ongoing basis. Ultimately, it's about ensuring that the badges are relevant, they remain relevant, and they also remain aligned with the program, any organizational standards or industry standards over time. Then we have badge issuing process. So this is all about outlining step-by-step processes for how badges are going to be issued, whether it's an application-based process where an earner has to apply for a badge, or perhaps it's an automated process where after the completion of an activity, a badge is issued automatically. However that works, it's really about defining how badge earners will receive their digital badges and ensuring that that process is transparent and efficient. And then finally, we have training and support. So there always needs to be some degree of training and education, particularly for badge issuers, as part of an onboarding process and getting them familiar with how the program works and engaged in starting to issue badges. It's also important for the earners as well that there be some degree of training to help educate them on how to engage with the program. And then on the support side, it's really about how you're going to support your issuers and your earners on an ongoing basis as needs, concerns, and wants arise. How do they engage with the program in such a way that they can get that support that they may need? So there we have it. That's it for today's session. And if you want to learn more, I provided a range of different resources here that you can tap into. Again, I want to point out the Digital Badge Academy's newsletter that we publish every Thursday. It's free to sign up for, and there's a link here provided for you. We also have webcast and blog articles up on our Digital Badge Academy website that are free to watch and read. And we also have a LinkedIn page, which you can go out and become a member of. We're constantly posting out on LinkedIn. So that's another great source to get insights and information about digital credentialing and badging. Of course, we have our masterclass, over 10 hours of very in-depth training. So if you're looking for something more in-depth in the way of education, that is a great option. And then lastly, you can meet with us. You can schedule a free 30-minute consultation with us to learn more about what we can do to help your organization develop or improve on a digital credentialing program. And to do that, just email me directly at jim@digitalbadgeacademy.com. And with that, that's the end of this session, and we hope to see you back for part 3.
Are you looking to launch a digital badging program or improve an existing one? Look no further than Digital Badge Academy. Our highly popular online masterclass will help you gain the skills and insights necessary to achieve success. Enroll now and start learning today.